What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, the one and only Almighty Anon, joined today by the vicious Ventus. Say what up, Ventus.
What's up, everyone? Here stepping out of the shadows with Almighty Anon, unfortunately.
But stuck dealing with this motherfucker to bring you guys content, so you better like it. Today, on your favorite not radio channel, What FM, we are going to be bringing you a dialogue about Tenkaichi 4. Mm-hmm. How are you feeling about the game? You excited for it?
Oh, more excited than you. I know
bullshit. Bullshit.
More excited than you.
I've been a Dragon Ball fan for years.
So right? What? Have I not been a Dragon Ball fan for years?
No, you haven't.
Did you ever watch GT? Stop talking.
I watched Super.
Stop talking to me. Stop talking to me. Stop talking to me.
Week by week.
Stop talking to me.
Fuck you. Are you sipping on anything today?
No.
Oh, because you're weak as hell.
You never offer me any. Again.
I offer you a Fresca, which is what I'm drinking.
I don't want that. He never offers me any actual drinks.
What do you call this then?
What
is a Fresca?
Just sparkling water.
It's sparkling soda water. Alright? And it's banging. It tastes like grapefruit and sex. Alright?
I would like to come over here one time and just have a Sprite, like ready to
Sprite.
go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that you finally give me a straight answer as to what the fuck you'll drink.
I've said this like 6 times, by the way. Just want y'all to know that.
Bullshit.
Not bullshit, but
you're bullshit. All right. Let's open this. Skip All right. Let's open this. First off, what are your mains going to be? I mean, just straight out the gate.
Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Okay, obviously Goku in general. Like, I grew up with Goku. I know Goku, some people are just like, gosh, I hate Goku. Don't get me wrong, I hate because he wins most of the time. Like, everybody else gets forgotten about. But he is still my favorite. So, I'm going to main any version of Goku, probably. But mainly the one that has Super Saiyan 4 attached to it. Because that is still my favorite Super Saiyan transformation. Or second favorite. Can't go wrong with Super Saiyan. But I'm mainly Super Saiyan 4. Of course, I'll play, the God forms, which that is a topic in this as well.
Yep.
And Ultra Instinct, but I will mainly be playing Super Saiyan 4.
That's understandable. 4 is goated.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you. I love the design of it. My favorite has always been 3, though.
Really?
Yeah, just the fact that it's literally your power put into a bubble, and that's where its speed and power comes from. Because there was some, book that, you know how they release those little magazine things? And that's how we'll get, the power level number.
Oh, like the data books? That's what that's what they call. Yeah.
And they never come out in America because apparently we're not Dragon Ball fans.
Yeah, apparently.
You know that Mexico is, a huge Dragon Ball point?
I did not know that. But
if you go on YouTube, a lot of shit is in Spanish. A lot of, the magazine leaks are found in Mexico. For some reason, Mexico is just this huge focal point. And more power to you guys, but I've always been a Super Saiyan 3 guy in terms of my favorite form. It's a close tie for that and Super Saiyan God.
Okay.
That one, I don't know. I love the lore behind it, and I love the fact that it's red. So
yeah.
For me, though, my main it's definitely a toss-up between either Vegito, because he's always been a fucking goat,
okay,
or Gohan, which is pretty unsurprising for this conversation, considering how much we've talked about that.
Fair.
I do wonder if they're going to bring Beast Form in, because I don't know how long they've been working on this game, so it's, Beast is the newest, so it's a toss-up if Beast Form and Orange Piccolo are even going to be in the game.
I feel like for those forms, it's probably going to be DLC.
I guarantee you. Or a pre-order bonus.
Or a pre-order bonus. Yeah.
You remember when Xenoverse 2 came out? Goku Black was a pre-order bonus.
And
the Red Pole to ride.
Yeah.
Fuck, that just summoned a memory for me. Holy shit. And of course, I was in high school, and my parents wouldn't let me have a card. So I had a bank account, but I had to go there constantly and pull out cash. Mm-hmm. So I had no way to do this pre-order shit. I could not pre-order shit when I was working, nothing. So, kind of keeping along the character idea here, what are some of the characters you're expecting to see? Obviously, we know some of the mainline ones that are going to be in there. Goku, Vegeta, Krillin, Yamcha, Tien, Gohan, Piccolo. Those are just givens. Right. It's not going to be a Tenkaichi game, or it's not going to be any Dragon Ball game if they're not in it.
Yeah.
And Tenkaichi is known for having massive rosters. I think Tenkaichi 3 had somewhere around 100, didn't it?
Yeah.
So, but granted, and this is where one of my gripes come in, Tenkaichi's 3's roster also consisted of like, here's Goku, and here's Goku Super Saiyan 4.
They had like, it was like
duplicates.
Yeah, it was Goku. I think it really was just Goku. Then there was Goku mid, I guess the middle point of his life or whatever. Then they had Goku end. Then there was GT Goku, and then there was Kid Goku. And I'm like, good God, we have a lot of freaking Gokus here.
Right. So I mean, yes, it boasts a large roster, and we'll get into that a little bit more in a video that I'm coming out with where I have a whole custom roster made out. But I want to see that changed. If they're going to have a huge roster, there's a huge selection of characters already. So let me see them. Like, bring them out.
Fair enough.
But who are some characters that you're hoping to see outside of the mainline cast?
So, obviously we know, okay, it depends on how the game's going, right? Most likely, I would ideally, if they want to have a large roster, take everyone from Dragon Ball to Z to GT and Super, all that, right? Super, we know that most of the new characters are all going to be all Super, so we're going to get Hit, Jiren, freaking Kefla. I would be surprised if we had them at, like, individuals, so we had Caulifla and Kale, and then their fusion, but people don't really care about the fusion, so we're probably just going to get Kefla, and that's it, and call it a day. I would like to see some of the manga characters, like, even though they haven't, because I guess the anime is just not coming back anytime soon. Like Moro, I would like Moro to also. Moro will be sick. I'd like to see. Who else are they fighting now? There's got Granola.
Granola,
Gas, yeah. Yep. So like, if you're gonna add, but again, if they're in the game, they're probably gonna come much later.
Right.
But
I wouldn't be surprised if the ones that aren't out for anime release yet aren't released until DLC.
Until DLC, yeah.
What do you think about like the superheroes characters though? Are they going to be in it?
Ooh,
Cell Max. We'll touch base with that because I have some notes about that. But like Gohan Beast, 1 and 2. What were they called?
Oh, Gamma 1 and 2?
Gamma and Beta.
Yeah, Gamma and Beta. Yeah. So my thing is, right.
Pan too. Sorry.
Oh,
Pan.
Yeah.
She's old enough now. She's fighting. She put hands on that motherfucker.
She really be tossing though.
Shit.
I think it would be honestly from the superhero movie, Gamma 1 and I keep saying Gamma 1 and 2. I'm like,
I don't know if it's I can't remember if it's Gamma 1 and 2 or
I thought it was Gamma 1 and 2.
It could be because they do have that 1 and 2 on them, but I just don't remember if it's Gamma and Beta or Gamma 1 and Gamma 2.
Y'all know who we're talking about,
right? Don't make us question our lives right now. I don't appreciate it.
I don't like it. All right. I would like to see them in the game because they were actually a highlight for me in superhero. I didn't think I was going to like them, and I thought they were just going to be needless background characters, but they were somewhat enjoyable to see. So it'd be cool if they're at it in the game and like their attacks even have like comic book things on the side, like you can hit pow, kapow, all that.
Oh, so that'd be so.
That would be
for them to put in.
Yeah, that would be pretty sick for them. Cell Max, so you said you had some notes for that. Are you saying, or are you thinking on the same lines of me of, you remember in the older games, they had like Hirudegan, like the big dragon dude from the movie, but he was just like, he was obviously huge, but not like his actual size. It was,
yeah.
You think they would do something like that for Cell Max?
So what I'm hoping for this game, and you and I touched base about this briefly the other day, just talking, I am really hoping they bring back giant battles.
Yeah.
Whether it's small versus giant or giant versus giant. I don't remember which game. It could have been Tenkaichi 3. But one of the other games had like different Uzaru that you could play as and everything. And you would have these fights. And it was cool because like they would go into the hyperbolic time chamber arena. And they would show the difference between playing as regular characters and playing as Uzarus, and it was they feel big.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they can bring those back. You know, I have in my roster, in terms of like the kits wise that you and I talked about, and we'll come back around to that. But like some of the variations for characters you can pick are like Kid Goku's Uzaru form, Vegeta's Uzaru form, Nappa, Bardock, all these different things. So I'm hoping they bring back big battles, and with that, they can bring in Cell Max and bring him up in a big size.
I would appreciate that. I shouldn't say it was like a small unnoticed thing, but it was cool where like, if you were on a nighttime stage and you had a character that could go into an Ozaru, you could actually activate it then, but if there wasn't a nighttime stage with no moon, you couldn't do it. So I think that's an actual interesting. And besides like Vegeta, who could like artificial moon and just do
The
whatever.
moon ball.
Yeah, the moon ball. But it would be nice to see a similar feature like that return. Just to, it's little details like that that add life to the game. So I would like to see that return as well.
That would be nice. At least having Moonball as like an ability that you can use or some shit.
Yeah.
You know. Fucking characters wise. I am hoping to see a couple people make some appearances that haven't in a while. I want Chaozu to come back. I used to main that motherfucker on the original Budokai Tenkaichi. I'd invite my buddies over and we'd sit down and we'd play, and I was Chaozu all day.
Did you just keep blowing yourself up, or?
No.
No?
He has a fighting set. That motherfucker, you don't even know. He just... when he punches, I
like his grab, where he'll do the like psychic grab, like pick you up with the telekinesis, and then he'll do like a couple little kicks and hits, and then just really like kick your ass somewhere else. I'm like, damn.
Chaozu is slept on, and I'm fucking tired of it. He should have won the Tournament of Power, and he should have gotten whatever the fuck he wanted. Obviously, Krillin's gonna be in the game. Krillin would probably be a close third for me. Any multiplayer I did when I played Xenoverse, I did play a lot of Krillin.
Okay.
I love, and I think you and I have talked about this before, but it seems like this consistent trend in Dragon Ball games where Krillin, Yamcha, and Tien always have these unique fighting styles.
Yeah.
Not just like their moves or whatever, but they have this different animation set that sticks them out from the rest of the crowd.
Yeah.
And I love it.
I feel like because with them, they try to stick more to like old school Dragon Ball in the sense of like, hey, they're martial arts. Like everyone's like fighters, but it's like everyone starts doing other crazy shit, but they're like, hey, these guys were the OGs, all right? Give them the respect. I feel like that's how they usually look at it, but
it would be nice. There's just one guy in the animation department that's doing it. It's like, I'm going to give them the respect.
Because you guys just don't care.
Right. Fuckers. You guys want me to give another character Meteor Crash? I don't think so.
Since we're still on characters, would you like to see... So obviously Beerus is going to be playable. Do you think Whis would be playable? Do you think he want to be playable? Because Xenoverse did it, so I'm like, I could see them doing it. And just the fact too of increasing the size of the roster, I want to be surprised. Like, I would like to see some joke characters as well. I want to see, of course, Hercule will make a return. I'm sure he'll be there. I keep saying this because I want it to happen in Fighters, and my friend was mad about it. I wanted Bulma to be playable, but just her in a mech.
Along those same lines in my character roster, and it was kind of like a gag reveal thing, I have Chi-Chi.
Chi-Chi? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, she was a fighter.
She was a fighter.
I'm just saying, she was a fighter. And then she could have two kids. She could have kid and she could have adult. I'm just saying. Like, she could viably be in the game. I doubt they will.
Yeah.
But she could definitely be in there. I have, this is going to test and see if you remember as much as you think you do, Aral.
Aral?
Yeah. That little fucking girl, I have
she
Aral
was,
on the roster.
Because, if I remember, Kira Toriyama has, like, it was like another series he made, but she was like a cameo in Dragon Ball or whatever. And then I remember they had her in the games. But yeah, it was, what was it, Dr. Stump or something? I've never seen the series that she came from, but I know where, like, she came from, if that makes sense.
Right.
But yeah, seeing her come back. Oh, do you remember Ader?
Yeah, I remember Ader.
Okay, yeah.
He can't be in this game. He's a pacifist.
He wasn't one of them. He was a
Then they did him an injustice. If that man wants to be a pacifist, let that kind motherfucker be a pacifist. Just like Justice for 16. I'm just saying. God. I had... Oh, fuck. What was the other character that I wrote down? There was another really funny... Oh! The T-Rex.
The T-Rex?
On the topic of the giant battles. Just the T-Rex.
Just... Imagine playing a ranked match and just like, damn, I'm getting my ass beat by like these Ultra Instincts, the Vegito Ego and shit like that, and then you're like, damn, this one dude's top rank. I wonder who he mains. You just see T-Rex, you're like, what the fuck? What the fuck's going on here?
Top player in the world. Oh fuck. And you know that would be such a like nobody ever really picks him seriously, and then all of a sudden it's gonna be in meta for comp at some point. Just 100%, he's gonna show up and everybody's gonna be like, T-Rex is the meta?
Is the meta?
T-Rex meta? Meta? We'll ride off of that kind of same idea of talking about multiplayer stuff. Do you think there's going to be a comp mode?
I definitely do.
I'm very confident there will be with how the world of multiplayer has been. They have to find a way to keep up, or this game will drown.
Yeah, it will drown, yeah. So, comp would definitely make sense. Do you think, now, I don't know if it would be in like the competitive, like let's say playlist, but I would hope you're talking about like game modes and stuff as well for online. I would like to see, because tag battle was a thing. I would like to see, if not just like as a thing just for friends, obviously that'll probably be included. I would like to see like there's comp, so there's like individual comp, like you one versus one other person, and then there's like tag comp. So like I can go with you and you make it like tag team and I don't know, fight another tag team and just do that. Now, would it be ranked? Probably not, but if it's still just like a mode itself, that would help keep the game live, so I wouldn't trip about it. Tournament mode needs to be a thing.
Tournament mode. I'm glad you brought that up.
I don't know why, right? But a lot of like fighting games that come out now, they're not having tournament mode like an actual like online thing or anything like that. It's just kind of like a local thing. That's
like the perfect multiplayer option.
Yeah. I'm just like...
You lock in for like 30 minutes.
Yeah. Come on. But I know you wanted to mention a point about the old tournament stages because I remember that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So tournaments, right? Mm-hmm. I do have tournament mode where it'll be your 1v1s or 2v2s, making bigger, longer tournaments. But with that, I do have to cliff note that I want the combat in this game. I want it to be traditional Tenkaichi. The kind of third person, kind of over the shoulder-ish.
Yeah.
I want them to make it so that if you click R3, you unlock on from the person you're facing. I want 2v2s to be actual 2v2s.
That would be nice.
Or, like, instead of just tagging stuff out. And that kind of leads into my next game mode I wanted to bring up, and I didn't tell you about. Tournament of Power mode.
Oh, shit.
Drop 10 players, because we know, from watching Xenoverse, we know that they can handle a multiplayer game and they can make a good multiplayer game.
That's true.
We know what servers can handle and we know what gameplay can handle. Think about the boss battles in Xenoverse 2.
True.
Right? So, I want a Tournament of Power mode where it's like 10 people will drop down and we'll have two brackets, right? Or not two brackets, but two groups. 20 and 20 total players in each.
Mm-hmm.
In your group of 10, everybody's fighting. There's no flying enabled. And you have that lock-on, lock-off option. And then whoever is the winning 5 from your group will go into the next stage. Same with the other group. And then it's 5 and 5. And it's a free-for-all.
Honestly, that sounds like... Because of how... I guess the engine works for the game. So I'm not saying it's impossible. But just because of how much detail and everything they put in the game, especially with the fights. And it's not like the Xenoverse aesthetic where it's like... Not too much is in every individual character. I don't think it could be a thing. If they did something like that, they might kind of... And I wouldn't say they're cheaping out. It's just like, depends on what they could and couldn't do. They might just have like a Tournament of Power like little board. Sorry, I hit the mic. Little Tournament of Power like a little board. And like there's a bunch of individual fights happening. And then like maybe someone hops in after they win or something like that. I feel like they would try to find a workaround for it if they did something like that. But that idea on its own sounds like it could be a great Dragon Ball Battle Royale. Because they always release like a Dragon Ball game every year. So... If they ever wanted to just drop a battle royale, that would be fun as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
A Tournament of Power just...
I mean, a lot of people have been asking the question, especially since it had the collab with Fortnite, if there was going to be a Dragon Ball Battle Royale game of any type. And what would it look like and this and that? Because traditional Battle Royale, you drop in with jack shit.
Right.
And you collect to get stronger. And some people said that that's what was that new game that came out? Where you're all like civilians and you collect power-ups, you deactivate the generators to get the time machine.
Breakers?
Yes, Breakers. Some people said that that's all we were going to get. I would love to see something a little more combat-based.
Right.
Because in that game, from everything I've seen, it's kind of like pray you don't it's combat.
Like, yeah, it's like freaking prop hunt, honestly. Like, that's what it feels like. It's like hiding behind crates, stuff like that. And then if I'm in combat, it's over. Then I personally didn't like really enjoy Breakers too much. It was like
I never played it. It looks kind of fun with the right group of friends.
Yeah, it's got to be a group of friends because like by itself, like playing online, I could fall asleep.
It would be boring as fuck.
Yeah, but there was a moment when I played it and I was actually playing with Axel and he sees Cell. And so, like, Cell's trying to grab him. He's like, Van, do something. I was like, what do you want me to do with Cell? So, like, I try to engage with Cell, and I have this, like, little pistol, like, this little blaster I picked up. And, like, I shoot him, and he just looks at me. Nothing happens, and then he just, like, tail slaps me. And I literally do, like, the whole Hercule pose and land into a mountain. I'm like, yeah, I'm never doing that
I'm
again.
good. I'm good. I don't feel like being touched today. Oh, fuck. Tournament Tournament mode, though, like you said, I definitely want it to come back to multiplayer. I also want it to be in comp. I want 1v1s, 2v2s, and
Tournament and comp? Really?
Yeah. I mean, think about it. You lock in, you fight off against somebody of your power, right? And the whole lobby is kind of generalized around the same rank-ish.
Okay.
And then you move up a tier, you're fighting somebody else who also just maybe have ranked up just one, maybe not, and you keep going up until I think it would be like a 16-player thing.
Okay.
It'd be 1v1s or 2v2s, it would be 32 players total.
Okay.
And and you and your teammate can earn extra XP from doing 2v2s because let's just say that they're notoriously harder or something. I could 100% see it happening.
Okay, I can see that.
That's one of those things where it's like, it's not a hopeful prediction, it's a liable. It's a likely.
More likely. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you have anything else you want to touch base on the idea of comp?
I hope they do, and this isn't just like a Dragon Ball thing, this is just games in general comp. I ask it anytime one's coming out and I know there's going to be a thing. Give me something if the other person leaves, because I know I'm going to make people leave the game.
Right.
Because, give me something. They just leave, and then I put in all that work, and I'm just sitting there with nothing. I'm like, damn, that's...
Like half XP.
Yeah, have it. Yeah, give me half it, at least. Because I ain't going to lie, sometimes I piss people off. I'm a troll sometimes. So I'll be winning, and then I could kill them, but then I just start doing dumb stuff, which ends up sometimes biting me in the back, and I end up losing. But sometimes I troll them, and they leave, and I'm like, damn, I didn't get anything. So I would like to see at least that, if they...
An actual compensation system that works.
Exactly.
That makes sense. It might not happen because that makes sense, but... So, sticking on the multiplayer still, I do have a couple things I wanted to talk about. There is both Battle Pass and seasonal content.
Okay. I don't think that would go over too well for people. I feel like okay, so the BT series is such a beloved series, that's nostalgia right there. And I feel like if they add season pass, makes sense. If they added a battle pass, though, I feel like people would lose their shit and just be like, why they're adding this in their microtransaction? This I feel like it might give the game a negative light that they probably wouldn't want, so they probably shouldn't do it. If they did it though, it'll probably just be skins and stuff like that, but at the same time they could just have skins in the game. Just unlock it in game, playing ranked or whatever,
right.
Getting points and just unlock it. Personally, I probably wouldn't want to see a battle pass in there. Season pass, no problem. It's just adding characters. Which is crazy because it's kind of the same thing, but it's not. It's so you're okay with them having a store, or not okay with them having a store of stuff you can buy stuff if you want to, but you're okay with them releasing characters later on that you're going to pay for later. I'm like, well, yeah. Because it's a whole character. It adds something new to the game. This is, hey, this skin is $5, but you got to put $10 in to get it. So,
Right. No, I get it.
Yeah.
I've been very mixed emotions about battle passes in general.
Mm-hmm.
I can appreciate that they give you another layer of
something to grind or chase.
Something grinding, right?
Yeah.
My issue has always been that they're always so fucking expensive. They're $20 for a fucking battle pass.
Yeah.
And it's you grind the first 20 levels will go by in 3 matches, and you're like, okay, and now I've got 80 more levels of this battle pass that I'm gonna get through maybe 10 of,
mm-hmm.
no matter how hard I play this shit, because I don't know life it, I can't know life it. I got work and all this shit,
right?
So I'm not gonna get whatever super cool thing is at the very end. But on the other hand, like I said, I like that it gives you something to work toward. And to me, this might be a little bit of an out there opinion. I've never had a horrible issue with microtransactions. I have an issue with microtransactions that make a game unfair.
That's true. Pay to win. I'll give you that, yeah.
So if there is a battle pass, I want it to be all cosmetics. I want it to be or all cosmetics, or unlocking a DLC character that's going to come out next season that they have ready, but you can have the chance to earn it now, type deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's always bothered me, that it's you have the option to buy this season's character, or loadout, or weapon, or whatever the final unlock is.
Right.
Or you can grind through the battle pass for it. They're both $20, so just
whichever you want to do. Yeah.
I think it would be cooler to make it $10 battle pass that if you get the final unlock, you unlock the character that's coming out next season. And then, if the devs are smart about it, they can use the people who get those characters to use that as beta testing for if they need to buff or nerf it by the time drop comes around. Then their wide drop comes out and there's second update on the character right off the bat if they need to buff or nerf it again.
No, I can kind of see that.
It's like a revolving door, you know what I mean? You have the options to fix things early on. Seasonal content, though. You know, you mentioned the season pass and everything. What is some seasonal content you kind of expect to see?
So, for seasonal content that I would probably expect to see, I would like to see, or more so what would happen is, I feel like so let's say, like, season 1, right? It's like the Super Saga. So everything in that season is just regarding super characters, super related stuff, super events, whatever, right?
They got to track.
Yeah, they got to track. And then let's say the following season after that, right? It's just OG Dragon Ball. And it doesn't have to, like, make sense. Like, it doesn't have to be Z, all right, we did Z, so it has to be GT or Super. It could just be whatever.
Right.
It's Dragon Ball. Like, you could literally do whatever. They could even... Now, ideally, I wouldn't want to see it too much because it's just more of a marketing thing, but they could even have, like, a Heroes season where it's just like, hey, we're gonna...
I think Heroes is owned by different people, though.
Really?
Like, I think Heroes... It's kind of like the Hulk situation where Warner Brothers has movie rights to him, but Marvel owns the character.
Yeah,
I think Heroes is made by a different company. I could be completely wrong. Every time that I've wanted to go watch it, I can't understand what I'm looking for because people are like, oh, well, you just look it up and the episodes are on YouTube. And I'm like, okay, but I see a 17-minute clip here, and then when I click on it, it looks like a fucking trading card game. And then I click on this 3-minute clip, and it looks like it's from the show, but it's a clip of the show. And I'm like, I don't understand what I'm looking for. I want to watch this shit. Cumber looks cool as fuck, all this different shit, Xeno Goku, and I can't understand what I'm looking for. So I gave up a long time ago on ever hoping to watch Heroes. I just get my information from fucking Instagram posts and TikTok clips.
There was a period of time where I was watching a little bit of superheroes, and like it was like earlier when the episode started dropping, and I was watching it and I was like, oh shoot, Super Saiyan 4 is here. Okay, shoot, hold up. And then they had like a little rivalry where it's like God Goku was fighting Super Saiyan 4, and then of course they do which is always smart. People hate it, but it's smart because it's like then no side can complain. They left it off as a standstill when no side won. Right. I was like, all right, Super Saiyan 4 would win, but we're not going to do it. No, it wouldn't win. It probably wouldn't win. I'm being honest. I mean, others would disagree probably, but I'm being honest. Just because of the scaling of Super Saiyan 4 would probably lose. But in my mind, it never does. So,
right. I'm right there with you.
But yeah, shoot, what were we talking about? I started talking about superheroes.
We were talking about seasonal content.
So, yeah, I started talking about Heroes. That's a rabbit hole in itself. Because it really is just a marketing for a card game for the most part. But
yeah,
which I've never actually touched a card game.
I don't know which card game it is. Is it talking about like the physical card game, the TCG, or Legends?
Heroes is actually like it's a game that's played at arcades, and then eventually they started having to become like an actual thing where I think they did something on the Switch for a bit, and then I think it maybe might be a mobile thing now. But yeah, now it's more of a digital card game. But before it was like
oh, wait a minute. Is that there? I remember seeing clips of some game where like you're walking around in the menu, and it's not fighters before you say anything. But when you walk around in like the hub, you're like a little chibi version of your character. But it's the same game where people keep taking clips of them doing like custom fusions.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's probably what you've seen.
Gotcha.
And then they have like a little male saying beat or whatever, and then something else. I don't know. But yeah, that.
Speaking of fusions.
I don't know.
Fusions.
Nice segue. I like that.
What do you think?
In terms of what we're going to get, or how's it going to necessarily work? Like,
I'm going to leave it broad before I touch base on it. So, just fusions, thoughts, expectations, etc.
So, for example, right? You know how I was talking about that tag battle thing?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how they would do this, because that's how it worked before. But you got to keep in mind, it was you with a team of characters that you controlled, and then fight another team of characters that was being controlled. What if like you do tag battle for person? And let's say, like, Axel, I'm fighting with him, and he's Vegeta, and I'm Goku. And then we decide to fuse. I wonder how that would work if that was an actual thing. But I feel like what they might do is just like, hey, whoever's the host, like whoever brought you guys into the lobby, that's who's going to be controlling the character if you guys fuse.
I think it would go more along the lines, if they were to do it like that, I highly doubt they will, because it's, again, too cool of a concept. If they were to do it like that, I would say it's probably whoever's currently fighting, right? So let's say Goku's out on the field, and he does the input to do his fusion with his partner.
So whoever
he'll
started.
take control, and then they can use the character switch button, which will cause a little pulse up in the corner, so that way both people know when a switch happens, and Vegeta would take over as the fusion.
That would be interesting. Now they'll probably sitting there watching this video like, y'all trying to do too much, bro. They ain't gonna do all that. Y'all gonna tag in and that's it. You ain't gonna do nothing else.
Right. Don't get me wrong. We're hopeful.
We're very hopeful. Yeah.
At least if we put it out now, we can be like, this is our intellectual property, so pay me royalty.
Exactly. There you go. I could definitely. That would be crazy. Imagine you're fighting someone like you have a read on their like how they fight. You're like, okay, this dude's really aggressive. Then they switch and then they're just super defensive. You're like, wait a minute, what the hell happened? That could just. That would be interesting. They actually have a game like that, not Dragon Ball related, but it's a tag. You've heard of course, League of Legends. Yeah. They actually got a fighting game coming out. It's called Project L. And it's like team based where you actually like tag each other in, use each other as assists or just full on tag in and just start fighting. So they said it's a fighting game they want to focus more on team play. So maybe they can learn something from that. I mean, the game's already in development, so it's whatever.
I mean, right.
Yeah, but that would be interesting.
The game isn't even set with a release date or a release year yet. Yeah. So, you know, there could be a lot to go. Yeah. I mean, technically, we're still at the point where it could get just shadowed given up. Like, true. Never come out.
They could just, well, at this point, if it doesn't come out, there's going to be riots in the streets.
Oh, absolutely. I think it said, like, in September you can start pre-ordering, though.
Really?
I think that's something, I can't remember. It's either something I read somewhere or I'm not sure. Okay. In terms of fusions, I'm kind of right there along with you in terms of being able to do them rather than just selecting them as a character. Yeah. Some of the named fusions, Kefla, Gogeta, Gotenks, Vegito, I think they will be alternate character options. Mm-hmm. Like if you, going back to my kit system, if you click on Goku or you click on Vegeta, they'll both have the Vegito and Gogeta options. Right. So for those big ones, you'd be able to start. Or you could load it into your loadout. So you could be, let's say you're Goku, right? Mm-hmm. You're in the fight. Because I have this loadout system, and again, that's something that we might touch base on, but I have videos coming about all these different things that I have planned. And Ven might join us for some of them, he might not, we'll find out at some point. But pretty much, you would have it set as like type of accessory. Okay. Which you would be able to then use, and essentially it's like your partner that you're going to fuse with is in there. So let's say you go into you're solo playing and you go into a 2v2 battle, or even online, you go into a 2v2 battle, you have your character and you have that little capsule that has your teammate that you're going to use in it. Okay. So Goku could go in with fucking Gohan and in his capsule, and he does the input for the fusion, and then they would fuse right then and there. Okay. And there's two different types of because you know they use capsules for like
for everything, yeah.
So we'll probably guess that it would be a capsule if anything. So you would have two different types of capsules. You would have a Fusion Dance capsule or a Potara capsule. Okay. And whichever one you do is whichever animation will happen and whatever type of fusion happens. Okay. I'm hoping that they'll go a lot more out there in this game and include fusions that don't currently exist in the mainstream.
Okay. Do you feel like because of probably the demand, especially of characters, because you gotta... So now some people think, right, and I've seen a little controversy with this, some people think that because of how far games have come now, that the roster might not be as big, at least at the start, for this game when it comes out.
I could definitely see... I think it has the power and the abilities to have a large roster, but I think realistically what's going to happen is they're not going to release a large roster for the sake of releasing characters.
Makes sense.
You know, my ideal roster video that I'm going to come out with just has all the characters I'd like to see in the game. You know, it doesn't matter... it does, but it doesn't matter when they come out or how they come out. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not expecting them all off rip, but it would be nice to see it.
Okay. I can get with that.
I also think if they bring giant battles in on a realistic point, it's probably going to be a DLC. It'll be a seasonal thing. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
I could see it happening where in whatever the storyline is that they're going to do, they'll skip over any giant battles that do happen, just treat it as a little cutscene moment. And then later on, when they integrate giant battles, that's going to be something that they'll use as a reference point to be like, hey, this is referring to this part in the story. You have this option to play this story moment now on a separate area.
That I could kind of see that, honestly.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I could kind of see that. I wouldn't be too much of a fan of it because I would like to have full access to it, like off rip, and not like be a seasonal thing. But I could see it, and that kind of brings into my kind of question. Do you think, because of how games are more modern these days, do you feel like trying to, not in a sense, I'm gonna call for what it is. You feel like they might try to milk the game a bit?
Oh, 100%.
So instead of it just being like, okay, we're releasing the game, and of course they're gonna release characters like that, they might focus more on, hey, instead of trying to add features to make the game more enjoyable, we should just add like more of a season pass thing or a battle pass and more microtransactions type stuff. Do you feel like because of how games are these days, they'll focus more on the money side instead of, hey, let's make this game fantastic?
I am hopeful, I'm optimistic that they'll do a balance. I'm not even optimistic of the idea that they're going to focus on making the game as fun as possible in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
I really think they're going to focus on that money, but I'm hopeful that they'll find a good balance. I had something right off of that.
We'll be right back after these messages.
It was something about the seasonal stuff. In terms of making it long. Oh, Xenoverse 2, before it came out, those developers were predicting a 10-year lifespan for it.
Jeez.
As far as I know, the game is not still kicking.
It's still kicking. They're still dropping content. And, no offense to people that love Xenoverse. I still like the game, too. Every now and then I go play it with some friends. But I really sit there this game's still releasing content?
Right.
Anytime I see, just recently I seen, and I don't know if it was true or not, but apparently they might be releasing Heroes characters into Xenoverse. I'm like, you guys really just have nothing. If Xenoverse 3 happens, I'm like, who are you going to add at this point? But no, I could kind of see that.
Going off of the storyline, what are your thoughts? What are your predictions in terms of the actual story mode? Because it's not a Tenkaichi game without campaigns.
Without campaigns.
I think the original Tenkaichi had where if you beat... I'm trying to remember, because I had Budokai, I had Budokai Tenkaichi, and I had Budokai 3. Which is a game... Those Budokai games are ones that, for some reason, when I talk to people, a lot of people are like, you mean Budokai Tenkaichi? No,
there's...
I know what I'm saying. Fuck, I remember the red cover with the colored-in Goku, and that was it.
There's Budokai, and then there's Budokai Tenkaichi. There's differences. There's differences.
There's Ultimate Tenkaichi, which is a game that I think is kind of slept on, but...
I'm not going to get into that with you, that rock, paper, scissors game.
Don't get me wrong. I know it's shit. I know it's shit, but I don't hear enough people admitting they like it.
I wouldn't say it's shit. I just didn't like the comment because I feel like if I knock someone away, next thing I know, I'm in a whole rock, paper, scissors situation. And I'm just like... It feels more like it takes the fight into more like an RNG type situation. Yeah. I don't know.
No, I get it. I honestly, I do think the game is shit, but I loved the art style in it, and I loved the create a character story.
Right.
I had a blast with it. I can admit that I loved a shitty game, so that's where I'm at with that.
And we've all had. There's some games that I love that everyone's like, "What the fuck are you?"
Yep.
So that we have our outliers, but what was I gonna say? Storyline. So I feel like now this might be a bit too ambitious considering how it is today. It might not be achievable. Well, I shouldn't say it might not be achievable. It probably is, but will they do it? That all depends. But did you ever play BT2?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, that one. So I have a same with Vax when we talked about it. Budokai Tenkaichi 3 was the best for gameplay and look and everything like that. But BT2 is probably the best for story because the story mode, and you got to look at it whenever you get a chance, just look at the story mode, menus in BT2 on YouTube or something. They had Dragon Ball, and all Dragon Balls, as much as they could. They had Dragon Ball Z, and they had missions in the story mode that you didn't even think was relevant. Like they had one where like Piccolo's training Gohan and Gohan goes Great Ape and then Piccolo has to stop him. Mm-hmm. Then after they did all the saga of like Z, then they had freaking What Ifs, which is like a common thing in most Dragon Ball games. They had What If sagas, and then not only that, they also had movie arcs. So they had the Metacooler arc and everything like that. And I was like, good God, like there was so much. So like there was the Janemba movie story, stuff like that. I don't know if they'll do all that. If they do, they might have like, so let's say Dragon Ball sagas, Z, Super, probably GT.
Big thought off of that, and I don't want to forget it because this is relatively realistic too. Back to seasonal content with that, I think seasons are going to be themed around whatever they're dropping. So let's say they have a Broly DLC, a Broly season, right? Where it's focused around Z and Super Broly, including the Broly Z movies and whatnot.
Oh God, they better not be.
I think they would add in some what if storylines, some short-ish storylines of those different movies and whatnot.
I could see that. Anyway,
go ahead.
No, that if it was done like that, I don't think people would mind the seasonal stuff too much. Then, if it was like, hey, this season it's the Broly movie, and then it's just like you literally go into like a special kind of saga section of the story that's opened up. And now here's the thing: this wouldn't matter if people would hate it or not. It should stay. Yeah. So like, hey, this season's Broly. This season's Broly. Here's the Broly movie storyline. Go play through it. You can unlock this. If you go through the story mode, you get like this. You can get like a costume for Broly at the end or whatever, right? And then it stays. It better not be a situation where like, hey, okay, season's over. You didn't play it. Well, the storyline's gone. Because then it's like, what the hell?
I don't think that would happen. I think it would be more along the lines of like Destiny, where you know, the main season is whatever DLC they just dropped, and then that sticks around. You know, you can buy it at a later point and play it at a later point, this, that, and another. So
makes sense. So yeah, I could see that. And then in terms for like the rest of the story stuff, sagas, Dragon Ball up to Super, and then after that, they're probably gonna have what ifs, and then maybe movies, but it's not gonna like detail everything. It's probably just gonna be the final fight of every movie. Like, hey, here's Gogeta fighting Janemba. That's it. And then they might do like the little prologue things that they used to do before in the old games. Like, hey, this is what happened. This is what you're about to do, and this is why you're fighting so and so. Go fight him, and that's about it.
Right.
That's how I see the story being done. Just sagas.
And it kind of scares me to think this, but I think realistically, I don't think they're going to do as much of a heavy campaign focus as I would like. I think they're going to do, and this is, again, me being hopeful. I've been waiting for OG Dragon Ball content in a game for years. You know, when Kakarot came out, I was hopeful that they were then going to come out, because I knew they had to start with Z, you know, for marketing purposes. If they just came out with an OG Dragon Ball RPG, it wouldn't work. No. You know, it wouldn't sell. But they came out with Z first. They showed what they could do. They showed the potential and everything. I was hoping then the next game would be OG Dragon Ball. And then finally, by the time both of those games have lived out their cycles and everything, then they'll come out with a huge Super game. And then if they needed to, if they were able to legally, they could make a GT one as well. True. After that. You know, it could be a 4-game sequence. And it comes out in the order it comes out for popularity's sake, all right? But then the DLC for Kakarot started coming out, and I was like, I don't think they're going to make a Super one, because they've covered the first third of Super so far in the DLC.
Since you bring that up, quick side note, unfortunately, because when I bought Kakarot, right?
I pre-ordered it. I went to GameStop in the mall the day it came out. Me and like 6 people were all there just waiting.
I pre-ordered with actually we got like the Ultimate Edition, everything like that, and I did not play it after. I think I played the beginning of the Saiyan Saga. I was Piccolo. I didn't even fight Raditz. I think I was going to fight Raditz, and then I haven't touched the game again since.
No.
Yeah, I know.
You're lying.
I know. It's. So one thing for me, this was kind of my view, but I was like, it looks like a great game. It is a great game. Like, I played it, like, later on, like, Axel let me play on his account, and I was playing, like, versus Frieza, that Super Saiyan God and everything like that when I'm fighting him. And I was like, the game feels amazing. Like, it's fun to play, cool, interesting things to do, but I was like, what kind of turned me off was like, another Z game where I have to go through the whole story of Z, which goes into my next point. I feel like what they might do now that I'm thinking about it, for BT4 is, since they've told the story of Z so many times, they might not just do the story at all. If they do story mode, it might be just for the story of Super, maybe Dragon Ball, GT or whatever, but they probably feel like, okay, at this point, we've told the story of Z so many times, if you don't know, you've just been under a rock. And then they could just, instead of developing a story on that, they could just cut it out and then do other things. If they did do the story for Z, it would just be highlights. Goku vs. Frieza, Gohan vs. Cell, something like that. They wouldn't do much.
So that does kind of build off of what I was saying. Is I don't think they're going to focus too heavy on the story mode, but I do think they're going to bring in those cinematic, those big fights. You know? So we've got, let's say, Kid Goku versus Grandpa Gohan when he's a kid training and whatnot, and then some other OG Dragon Ball fights. Because I'll admit, I never did get around to watching all of it. I couldn't. It didn't hold my focus enough because the writing was iffy and the voices were in.
It was a different time, of course.
Right. I did watch the point where Goku just smacks Bulma right on her patootie. So I thought that was funny.
Oh my gosh.
But, highlight fights from OG Dragon Ball, highlight fights from Z, Raditz, Nappa, Vegeta, OG Dragon Ball, King Piccolo, of course.
All right.
Going into Android, Cell in each of his forms, Boo in each of his forms, Dabura, all those, the major fights.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't think we're going to have very much in the way of, huge cutscenes, long expositions. I don't think it's just going to blitz through. You could probably beat the campaign in, 5 hours if you, with all the cutscenes still in and everything between and after each fight.
Makes sense.
And then it would just go through all the way up to the end of Super that we have so far. If we're lucky, we might get Moro.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that's a toss-up, though.
Yeah.
I think it would end at the Tournament of Power, and that would be the end of the campaign.
I can see that.
In terms of a plotline, I don't see too horribly much happening, unfortunately. But it could be. It could completely shock us, and we could be wrong.
Fair. That's true. I mean, they might shock us, too, because you got to understand this. Well, of course, this title. If they just said, hey, we got a Dragon Ball game coming out, and they showed that, people would be like, okay, cool, yeah, I'm hyped, new Dragon Ball game, okay, cool, let's see what it is. But the fact that you put the name Budokai Tenkaichi on it, you put that on there, and now it's a wrap. Now it's if you don't deliver, riots will happen in the streets again. I mean, developers will be found, all right? And this isn't me saying I'm going to do it. I'm just saying that people will find them, all right? They will look for you, because this is a beloved series. You can't mess up on it. So I feel like they're going to, hopefully, they recognize that, and they're going to give this game a lot of love. I hope. Of course, they're going to make money, but money with love.
Money with love, goddamn it. Kind of moving backwards a little bit, going off of DLC-ish, pre-order bonuses. There's going to be one. There always is. In my opinion, your pre-order bonus will probably include the Season Pass.
Okay.
And it will come out with, a skin for Goku, a skin for Vegeta, and something. I really don't know. It would probably just be, lightweight whatever shit.
You know what I see them doing? Two different styles. They could do what they did similar to Fighters, where it's hey, here's the newest, updated version of Goku and Vegeta. You could either play through the game and unlock them naturally, or pre-order and get early access to them. Right. And it's going to be the current UI Goku and Ego Vegeta. Or I see them going the route of, hey, you pre-order, and then here's this these limited edition, kind of like you were saying, costumes, Goku and Vegeta. I don't know, they get special design Goku and Vegeta costumes, just made for the game, just special design, and then people would pre-order for that too. So I could see it going either way, because either way, it's Dragon Ball General, so they know they got us. Right. But so they really don't have to do too much. They can just be hey, early access to these characters, pre-order. Well, we already pre-ordered, so it doesn't matter.
Right. I'm gonna pre-order.
Exactly. I'm gonna pre-order regardless.
It's one check, take it out. There's my $70. There's my $100. Depending on what the bonuses are, this is one of those games. Because, I looked at it for Final Fantasy 16, and I wasn't too impressed with the up-and-up version because it just was a fucking art book and a soundtrack, and I was
Yeah,
But depending on what it is, this is Dragon Ball. Even with Spider-Man, I'm considering, I might ball out. $150? Okay, here's my money.
Here's my money, just take it. Oh my gosh.
Okay. So we've talked a bit about microtransactions and battle passes, seasonal content. We talked a little bit about game modes and everything. What I want to get into, I'm going to hold off for a second, and I'm going to ask you something that I don't think has been done in a Tenkaichi game.
Okay.
And how you react, I'm not sure. You might punch me and throw me out this window.
I've always wanted to do that.
You might not.
Oh.
3 words.
Okay.
Create a character.
No. Get out. Get the fuck out. Get out. You gotta go.
You don't see it happen?
No. I wouldn't want it to happen.
No?
This is the kind of game, it's like, look, if you want to create a character, you got Xenoverse. That's what Xenoverse is for. You got it over there. Alright?
No,
This game, no. For a couple reasons. One, just no. Alright? That's the first, no. Second, you got this game where it's like, it should be focused on just the Dragon Ball characters. We get this game back, specifically the Tenkaichi series. You probably just want the original cast, everybody go off in great movesets. I feel like if we add CACs into the mix, then we're kind of moving away from the like original draw of the game. And now we're just, hey, I made my character. I give them all these busted moves. Now I'm gonna go online and like wreck house. You know, it's like, I ain't here for my CAC. That was Xenoverse. They're still releasing stuff over there with my CAC. I want to go over here and just be Master Roshi and fight Jiren and just have a good time. All right? I'm not trying to fight freaking Goku. That's not Goku, but I made a character to look like Goku when he's on the roster. That's always bugged me. Like if any of you guys are one of those people, I am judging you. I am definitely judging you. You play a game where you can make your own character, okay? You buy a Dragon Ball game where you can make your own character, and the first thing you want to do is, I'm going to make Gohan. What's wrong with you? That I've always questioned you people. If any of you watching this are those kind of people, please comment why you do that so I can find you, all right? Because, like, I'm confused. We need to actually have we need to sit down. I'll pay for wherever we go so we can figure this out. Because you're
saying lunch after this.
But no, I would not. I'm not with the CAC. No,
I'm glad.
Okay.
I'm very glad because I'm not gonna lie. I think realistically, speaking on behalf of the real world, I think we're gonna get something like it.
Oh God.
Do I want it?
No.
No, not at all. I grew up, and this is a conversation we didn't really get too heavy in at any point. We're not very sentimental between each other in terms
I hate this fucker.
Right. But I grew up with this game. I was playing Budokai 1, and then I asked for Budokai 3 for my birthday that same year because I saw it on the shelf at GameStop.
Okay.
I got gifted at some point Budokai Tenkaichi 1, and that was all I had. All 3 of these games, let me say it again for the people in the back. All 3 of these games I had and played all of as much as I could as a little kid before I ever watched Dragon Ball.
Fair.
I fell in love with this series before falling in love with this series.
I feel like that's for a lot of people because, like, I watched the series, but it was later on. I got introduced to it through the games. Like, I went to one of my cousin's houses, and he was playing, like, an older Dragon Ball Z game. It was, like, Sagas or something, which I actually love. It's a very underrated game.
I've heard bad things. I don't
know.
I never played it.
I don't know. Maybe I really enjoyed the combat. Maybe I like bad games. I don't know. But I thought it was
maybe I'm a bad person.
Maybe I'm a bad person. Who knows? But I really liked the game. I don't feel like it deserves as much hate as it gets. But I would definitely... How should I word it? I don't want to sound like that guy saying this. I really don't. But... I don't know. I don't know. Now I'm not sure because I'm like, I might get pitchforks if I say this right. You know what? No, never mind. Never mind. Nah, you know what? With the Dragon Ball audience, you got to be careful sometimes with what you say because they will find you. And I'm like, you know what? I kind of enjoy living, so I'm gonna just leave it alone. Never mind.
All right. With that. Now we can get into the one thing that you and I have talked about it. I got you to a point of understanding. Now we have to help them get to a point of understanding, and hopefully my apartment doesn't get burned down. I have an idea for a system called kits. And how this is going to work is it's going to kind of integrate with that idea that I mentioned about not having a gigantic roster by having duplicates. So... let's say you play Gohan, right? You know, because I will be. In the menu, there will be one option for Gohan. You will click on him, and then it will give you your drop-down options of which Gohan to play as. You will play as Kid Gohan, Youth Gohan. For those of you who don't know, they updated it. Teen Gohan is now Youth Gohan, and Adult Gohan is now Teen Gohan, and now Super Gohan is Adult Gohan.
Yeah.
But you can play as Kid, Youth, Teen, or Adult Gohan, and GT Gohan. You've got 5 options right there. You will go through the little ticker list to click on which one you want to do. And when you click on that, it will do sort of like what Storm 3 did for Naruto, where it will then give you like your picking, in Storm 3 you would then be able to pick your moves, like your special jutsu that you could use. But in this one, it'll be pre-made loadouts that you've made in the main menu, right? So, and it's not going to be full-on loadouts. Like, I'm not going to be able to change my whole X, triangle, square, and circle options.
Right.
But these loadouts are going to be your costume, what costume you have assigned to that character, and transformations. And then also fusion things, if applicable. So let's say I pick Teen Gohan, or Youth Gohan, and I pick him to have his Masenko instead of Father-Son Kamehameha. And, he'll have up to Super Saiyan 2. For that character, it would be, for that character option, you would have from just Raging Mode, Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan 2. Mm-hmm. So I would pick Super Saiyan 2, because Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, Youth Gohan, is my favorite.
Of course.
To this day.
Super Saiyan 2, you can't talk about Super Saiyan 2 without just mentioning Gohan. Because, other characters got it later on, but it doesn't hit the same. Gohan made that form. Yeah.
Right. He did that. Just like, Grade 3 is Super Vegeta.
Yeah, that's all Vegeta.
100%.
Yeah.
So that would be my loadout for that character. That would be my kit. Similarly, pick a Vegeta for me.
Majin.
Okay, so to get to Majin Vegeta, you would take, Adult Vegeta, or Z Vegeta. The way I've been separating for some of the characters who are mostly just grown throughout it, like Goku has Kid Goku, Teen Goku from the end of Dragon Ball, but then he has Goku Z, Goku S.
Right.
For Goku Z and Goku Super. And then Goku GT, of course. So with Vegeta, you would pick Vegeta Z, and then you would have your loadouts, and one of them, some of your options would be Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan Grade 3, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 2 Majin.
Okay.
Where we'll have a little animation where when he transforms, he doesn't just power up to Super Saiyan 2, he powers up to Super Saiyan 2, and he, grabs his head, loses his shit,
yeah.
And he goes into it. And it will be, statistically, more powerful than Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta.
Makes sense.
That's my idea. I could go round and round with this all day. I have so many ideas for this. Granted, I do not think it's going to happen, even in the slightest. But I think loadouts, kits, would be fantastic for this game. For a game to have such a gigantic roster, you should be able to make your own pre-made options to mitigate how much time is spent pre-fight. You don't want to be in the lobby with that guy that he loads in, and you click on your one character and you already have the button presses needed memorized to get your character set up quickly, versus having this guy that this is his first time in multiplayer, so he's scrolling through and reading all of his options and
Yeah. God.
Kits is something that I'm super passionate about. I guarantee it won't happen. But
No.
I would love for it to.
Oh,
I
of
think
course.
it will streamline menuing in the game. And now that we've really... Because I've been very tentative talking with you about it so we could save this dialogue for this podcast. Mm-hmm. So now that you've heard about it, what questions do you have? What comments? How do you feel about it?
I can honestly see it. I wouldn't be opposed to a kind of system like that. Especially because you got to realize, with certain characters, there's so many forms, especially Goku and Vegeta, so many freaking transformations. Like I was telling you when you brought this up to me, I was like, God, imagine looking at the list. You're like, oh, we'll be a preset, so you won't waste time in lobbies. I'm like, yeah, but imagine you're making the preset and you look at Goku and you're like, okay, I'm gonna pick Goku in another form. Kaioken, Super Saiyan.
Kaioken 3.
Yep, 3.
Kaioken 5. Kaioken 10. Kaioken 20. Now, if we want to incorporate non-canon content, Kaioken 100. Anyway.
Oh my God.
Moving on.
Then we have, they might do that one episode, the False Super Saiyan, but it was
False Super Saiyan.
False
I'm glad
Super
you
Saiyan.
said that.
Yep.
Super Saiyan Kaioken from the movie with Pikkon.
Mm-hmm. Then
Pikkon is on my roster.
Oh, of course. Pikkon better be on the roster. Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, then Super Saiyan 3, then 4, then God. Then you see how this is like it escalates. So I feel like that would make sense because, like fighters, for example, they said they weren't going to have duplicates of characters, which we kind of figured that wasn't going to be the case because they were like, "Oh no, we're not going to do that. This is the only time there's going to be a copy of Goku and Vegeta." And
Didn't they release? Wasn't Goku and Vegeta and then Goku and Vegeta Blue?
Yep.
Okay.
That was the base, and then they were.
I didn't touch fighters too much.
Yeah, they did that, and then they released the base forms, and they're like, "That's it. We're not trying to make like too many copies of characters." And then they kept making copies of characters as the game went on, so it's whatever. But I do agree with that, where it would condense the roster a bit, in the sense of, hey, have it all kind of make it to one character, and then have the loadout set up, so then that way it would make more sense.
And furthermore, I do have another way to condense menuing in the pre-fight. It will open up, and let me actually flip to this page real quick just so that I have it. But instead of just opening up on the characters, oh, it's in my other notebook, the purple one.
Purple?
Nope.
On the floor.
Yep. My bad, y'all. Technical difficulty.
Here.
Instead of opening up and immediately being on the characters themselves, it's going to open up with options.
Okay.
So what you will have is, and this is going to be a little bit of a spoiler for the characters I have coming, Shenrons,
Okay.
Saiyans, androids, gods, meaning gods of destructions, angels, Kais, humans, Namekians, Acrosians, Universe 6, Universe 11, GT, Z, Super, external content.
Okay.
I'm not going to.
So it's just like a filter. It's like you can filter what type, like, hey, Saiyans.
It will immediately open up to that. So if you want a wide selection of options, you're not really worrying about rushing to get to whatever character, you can click on GT, Z, or Super, and that will incorporate all those characters from those.
Okay.
If you want just Saiyan characters, you can click on Saiyans. That would include characters from Universe 6, include external content, etc., etc.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where I think to make a large roster efficient, this is something that needs to happen. Filtering.
That would make sense.
You know, I had issues with the way Storm 3... That is the one we played, right?
No, 4.
4. My bad.
Yeah.
Blazing Storm 4. I had a little bit of issues with their character selection. Because it felt like, yes, they were vaguely organized, but they were also kind of separated. You know, I would expect Robot Naruto to be somewhere near Naruto.
No.
I mean, I get it. But in terms of trying to find that character if I was playing him, my first thought would be to let's go to the Naruto option. See what I'm saying? And the pages and everything like
that. They always had the Akatsuki, right, where they were like all next to each other.
Right.
So, all right, cool.
Some of them made sense.
Yeah.
But then like all the Kages weren't next to each other.
No, the Kages are next to each other. At least all the Hokages. And then you got the other Kages, but they're...
Right, all the Hokages were together, but like the Raikage, Tsuchikage, Mizukage, reanimated one... Well, the reanimateds were costumes. But I'm just saying, like, things like that are where I have issues. I need it to be streamlined in a sensible way. You know, you could even just streamline it to Dragon Ball, Z, and Super, and that would help.
Makes sense.
You know, oh, okay, I want to play as Android 16. Well, he's not a super character. Might get a little confusing when we get down to, well, what about 16, 17?
Yeah.
Or 17, 18.
Yeah.
Or what about, where's Goku at? Shit like that. I think this game would benefit from being as user-friendly as possible and as streamlined as possible.
Okay, I can see that.
Do you have anything you wanted to add on that at all? Anything from what we've just talked about?
Only thing I would like to add is, so for the loadouts, right?
Right.
Or the kit, does it work so... Would you say it kind of works as like you got 2 special moves and then an alt?
The special moves, I shouldn't have said the Masenko thing. I wasn't planning to have any ability change.
Okay.
Your abilities are locked to that character.
Okay.
It's the transformations, costume, and if you have a fusion partner.
Okay.
So you could set up 3 loadouts for Youth Gohan, right? One with Super Saiyan 2 fusion ability with Trunks because I want True Han. Have you seen the art for that?
Yes.
So fucking cool. with the Piccolo shoulder pads on. Because I still think that's the coldest Gohan look to date, is the Piccolo fit with the shoulder pads.
Okay. The reason I say that is because, like, so Super Saiyan Goku, right? In the old BT3 games, or 2, there was Goku Mid I really liked playing the most. He had a Super Saiyan form when he fought Frieza, but that was the one that had the one-handed Kamehameha. Which is one of my favorites, because I was like, okay, cool, I'm cool with that. But then he also has instant transmission coming out. So I'm like, okay, what if I want to play that Goku, but I want to, swap it? So that's what I was kind of interested in. If, like, if the kid had, like, 2 supers that you could swap, and then the alt itself is whatever.
I could see them doing something like that. It would make sense. Make it your ultimates.
Yeah.
Just pick your 2 ultimates, your costume, and your transformation ability, and your fusion partner. It would be big enough to feel like you have control over the character, but not so big that you would spend hours making multiple characters loadouts.
Right. Real quick, a feature, I forgot about this. A feature come back to the game. Do you remember the buff system in BT, where, like, characters would have, like, a certain taunt, and then they would get an increase in power?
Yeah, just like in Xenoverse, how the dances and everything.
Yeah. Do you think that would be returning? Because, like, one of my favorites, I can't remember the Super Saiyan 4 related, but he's just like, I'll beat you in 5 seconds. And then, like, he gets attack buff, speed buff, all that defense, and it's nice. So I'm like...
I'm just hoping they don't do... Like, I never used the dances in Xenoverse because they were too fucking long. Like, maybe in multiplayer you might be able to get away with that shit if someone wants to play, like, Honor System or some shit.
Right.
But, like, in the story mode? No. You could fucking stun knock somebody back, and they will still somehow manage to come and interrupt your dance, and then you don't get it.
And then you don't get squats.
If they make them, I think it's cool. I think it is a good idea to have it. It does change the pace of the battle a little bit. If they make it with ungodly long animations again, then they need to have a forgiveness system. If you start the animation and you get to a certain point in it, and they interrupt it, you should get half.
Okay.
Half the boost. I'm just saying. And they should be able to steal the other half of that boost. See what I'm saying? Interrupting the animation could be beneficial for the enemy, more so than just keeping your partner or your enemy from getting buffed.
I can say that.
That's how I feel about that.
Okay.
Game modes. We've talked about story. We've talked about 1v1, 2v2. We've talked about tournament and tournament of power. I think this game needs to... Because I don't foresee this having a hub. I see it being like the old Tenkaichis.
It's just menus, yeah.
So with that, I think there's going to be more than just those little game modes. I think there's going to be some bullshit ones that a lot of people are going to hate, and I'm going to fucking adore. I want there to be a driving minigame. Where
God.
You can drive, whether it's multiplayer or single player, I don't give a shit. And I guarantee they'll release like little themed races each season too with it, just because of the driving episode.
I can get with that.
I could see them adding a tower mode similar to Mortal Kombat, where you are fighting up Corrin's tower or up Kami's lookout, fighting different enemies along the way.
I remember that, yeah.
Shit like that. What game modes would you potentially see? Oh, the other one I told you about, Snake Way.
Snake Way, yes.
I believe there will be an in-game shop with in-game currency, hopefully just in-game currency.
Okay.
Hopefully. Probably not, but hopefully. Where you can buy different cosmetics, buy more loadouts. If you want more than 3 loadouts for your character for whatever reason, go ahead.
Right.
Type deal. But with the Snake Way minigame, it would be essentially like a Temple Run knockoff, where you are just running along Snake Way, jumping over clouds that come across Snake Way and sliding under clouds and shit like that, collecting coins that you can then use in the shop. And granted, that would probably be the number one grind for money in the shop.
Makes sense.
What game modes would you think?
This one might be little... I would like to see a Dragon Ball one, where you remember Corrin's tower?
Yep.
You have to just climb up the tower. But like it's obviously getting progressively harder as you're doing it.
Yep.
Make it interesting. Don't just make it where, you're just like alternating between like left trigger, right trigger, and just climbing up.
Yeah, that would be like a loading screen.
Yeah, that would be like a loading screen thing. But like add some difficulty to it, because climbing the tower, it was a mini game. I think there was a game at one point. It was like an older Dragon Ball game I played, but you actually had to climb the tower, and they made it difficult. And I was like, why is this difficult? I'm just climbing the tower. What, you actually made it difficult. What's wrong with you? But I enjoyed it. If they did anything else minigame wise, This one might be kind of out there, but King Kai's Planet. Remember when?
Catching bubbles?
Yes! There we go.
Catching bubbles.
Yes. I would be okay with that. And then those are the ones from me, honestly. Oh! One more. You remember Gohan and Goten training and they was throwing the pebbles or the rocks?
Oh, yeah.
That one like that where it just like helps you work on your dodging.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, I could see that. That would actually be a useful
useful one. Yeah.
Final thing that I have, at least, to talk about. Loading screen games. This is something you just kind of reminded me about. It's one of the staples for older Dragon Ball games.
All right.
I'm sad that they didn't bring it into Xenoverse and whatnot.
Yeah, I know.
What kind of mini games do you think we'll be able to see? I think there should be many.
There should be a lot.
I think it should cycle. Bring in some old ones, like the tapping. I think it was tapping X to spawn Kid Boog, or not Kid Boog,
the ghosts.
Go Tank Ghosts.
Yeah.
Shit like that. Korin's Tower, just do L2R2 repeatedly to climb up it. I think there should be a beam struggle one, where it's like Goku and Vegeta, and you just like tap circle a fuck ton to try to push the beam.
I'd be okay with that. There should be like, what? I want to say there's like ones that should kind of represent every point in the series. So, the older ones, they got like Dragon Ball and Z. I'm trying to figure what would be a good one to represent Super.
Another gag one, Goku eating.
That's
just
fair.
Press X to keep eating and stacking up bowls.
That's fair.
For Super, that's kind of rough.
Yeah.
I could see it being Goku blocking Beerus's Earth Blast, pressing X to block the...
No, I got it.
Okay.
Vegeta dancing for Beerus. Vegeta dancing for Beerus. Yes, you just got a mini game. You got to do like a little like rhythm inputs and press it as you're waiting for load. Be like triangle, circle. And then Beerus is like happy. And then if you mess up, he just like shoot the beam at you or something like that. It's just like a little fun loading game thing. I think that'd be dope.
Okay. Did you have any final notes you wanted to go over with Tenkaichi 4?
Honestly, no. I think that pretty much sums it up. Well, so this brings all the way back when we were talking about characters. If Chi-Chi became playable, I would ideally like it to be, of course, Dragon Ball Chi-Chi, because Chi-Chi in the tournament, when she pulled up on Goku in Dragon Ball, she had it. She had it. And she was throwing hands. I don't know what happened later on in life, but she was throwing hands.
She stopped caring.
She stopped caring. But later on, she was throwing hands. So I would like to see joke characters. I want to see Pilaf in the game. If you remember them, the freaking
Pilaf game.
Yeah, I want to see them pull up.
Not gonna spoil anything. You have to wait for my video too, unless you want to be in it. Of my character roster.
Okay.
I still need to revise it a little bit, but yes, there's a lot of characters in there that I think you're gonna like, and some of them that I think you're gonna go, "You're a fucking idiot." You know that?
I swear, if I see Spoopovich on there, we're gonna have problems. Just like that, I'm going home. Fucking knew you were gonna have some obscure character on there. I just knew it.
Oh, that's not even the most obscure. Oh you're gonna be so mad. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to episode 3 of What FM. I don't know about Ven, but I personally have been having a phenomenal time making these for you guys. It's, I've wanted to do podcasts for ages. Pro Kodiak and I have one coming as well. But we've been saving up to get a dual splitter mic. I got too excited with my snowball, and I just wanted to get into it. So I know the audio quality isn't perfect, and I apologize. But I hope you guys are enjoying the discussions. The first episode of the podcast is the only one that's out as of recording this, and it's at 30 views, which is a lot better than a lot of my gameplay stuff I've gotten. If you haven't noticed by this point, I did go through a rebrand. I'm still all made Anon, of course. I did go back and I privated a bunch of unfinished series. I didn't private as much content as I thought I was going to.
That's good.
There was a lot of one-offs. I kept all my UFC. I kept all of Earth Defense Force. But I privated all of Resident Evil 5. I privated, Jedi Fallen Order, stuff like that. So pretty much anything that wasn't finished or anything that wasn't one-offs did get privated. And I changed the channel description. I changed my profile image, which that one was a little hard to do. It kind of hurt. I was like, oh man, this has been my image this whole time, So, but I like the direction I'm going. I'm going to keep up with this analytical and this commentary content. I have a huge project that's coming that's very, very background. It will probably be a while before it comes out, even by the time this is up. Ven even helped me with that one.
I don't know you.
you don't have to know me. You just have to work with me. So for the final time, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that little notification bell so you know every time I decide to upload or go live. Anon out. Ventus out.
Back to the shadows I go.
Aces.